As you know, Reverend Rosemary Hyde, has become an absolute committed, I'm using a strong word here, participant with Unity Montreal in an ongoing circle of Unity ministers who are part of our organization. And she's a Unity minister and has her own alternative ministry on peace. But she is, with all that, she is going to be a regular speaker for us, with us, bringing her incredible experience of a life in many different traditions, bringing it in. And I think we are also a delight for her to be this spiritual family that welcomes her, that holds her dear. So, Rosemary Hyde, we're all yours.
Thank you, Maya. I am delighted to be here with you all. Yes, Maya was talking about the Sangha, the spiritual community, and that is so important. And it's so important as we move through the levels of awareness and explore the experience of our physical embodiment, and then explore the bridge, which is what we're going to talk about today, the fourth dimension, the bridge to becoming mystics in a Sangha. It was, I have to say, it was really hard this week because I was influenced also by the celebrations of the life of Thich Nhat Hanh, to stay in the fourth dimension and in this level of awareness, because all of his teachings and meditations are wonderful examples of fifth dimensional awareness. And that's where I kept going. And I guess saying, no, I got to come back, talk about the fourth dimension. So I'm kind of rearing with impatience to explore this with you so that we can then leap off and enjoy in the next few weeks talking about fifth dimension and oneness and mysticism and the Sangha and all of those wonderful ideas. But to me, talking about the lead up, the path that we generally follow in our lives from the miracle of having a body, of being able to lift things and move things and bat things around, and to sing and to complain and to purr like the cat we talked about last week. Those are all physical experiences that are wonderful, that as spiritual beings, in between embodiments, if you want to look at it on a time spectrum, or amid multiple embodiments, if you take time away, which the fifth dimension does, it's a miracle. As I think it was Thich Nhat Hanh said, it's not so much a miracle to walk on water. It's an absolute miracle to walk on this green earth and to explore that and to become intimately acquainted with all of the experiences of embodiment. And the thing that is important in this story, the experience of embodiment becomes everybody's unique individual story. We all have a story. and our stories in the physical dimension are all unique and wonderful and different and are beautiful when we pay attention to them and when we witness them, no matter whose story it is. And sometimes when you pick a documentary on television, you get a whole new story that you had no awareness of before in the physical dimension. And it's a wonderful, beautiful experience. So there's a lot to appreciate in the physical dimension, and we only have it while we're embodied. So while I'm talking about it as a basic step in our overall spiritual path, I am not implying that it's less than. It is something that we need to honor and to enjoy while we are in a body, and that we also need to get perspective on from the other part of our being, from the spiritual dimension. We need to get a complete holistic picture. So just reviewing for a moment, the two levels of consciousness that we identified, they're not the only things that happen by any means in the physical dimension, but spiritually, they are important. The first one is victim, which means life is happening to us. And we all know people who are embedded in victimhood. Life is always happening to them, and they are always complaining about it. They don't go to getting out of it, getting past it, getting a higher or more skillful approach to life. And that's one of the experiences, the important experiences of the physical dimension. On the spiritual path and in the physical dimension, we know that everything has an opposite, right? There's good and there's bad. There's heavy and light. There's dark and light. There's, everything has an opposite. And the opposite of victim is victor, which we also, to some extent, and in some ways, all of us, I think, experience becoming victors, where we gain control, or at least the illusion of control, a temporary control over what will happen to us. We gain skills. We use the gifts, the powers that we've been given to control what will happen to us and what will not happen to us, more importantly. So we use all kinds of powers. We have the 12 powers. I don't know if you guys have really studied the 12 powers in depth. It's a wonderful experience, and it's worth doing a number of times from different levels of awareness, because these powers can be seen as physical powers as well as spiritual powers, and the context in which we experience them physically and spiritually are very different. So as victors, we talked about the last time, we learn how to have some influence. And we learn that although we yearn for love and for acceptance and for permanent good solutions, any solution that we try to apply in the physical dimension is going to be unsatisfactory and temporary. The money we have put aside in the bank, it is going to be, it's going to not be permanent. The relationship that we put all our confidence in to support us and nurture us, it's going to change. Never mind, we're probably going to leave it, or it's going to leave us. The home that we get attached to as a solution. Well, over a long time, I don't know if you've experienced, if you don't keep moving, then you have to keep decluttering. It's not a permanent solution, and we yearn for permanent solutions. That yearning for the overall good, that's also in us and is very powerful in us and is the balance of our path, our destiny. And today, with the evolving consciousness into discovering that there's another whole toolkit, another whole range of experience, another way to look at everything that isn't the physical dimension, that doesn't obey the laws of the physical dimension, that actually responds to that yearning that we all experience, that we all feel. That is in us too. But we don't, first of all, because we're in a body and because we're fascinated with being in a body and with our individuality, with our specialness, with our story, we tend, and legitimately, and we have to do this to develop a stable personality. We need to attend to our roots. We need to accept who we are based on our roots, based on our associations, based on our family and cultural history, based on the beliefs that we've been brought up and taught in early childhood. We need to know who we are, and we need to love who we are. So as we become victors, that is a part of the process, is becoming aware and loving who we are, all the parts of our identity. And then when we realize, wait a minute, this isn't the be all and the end all. This always disappoints. This always changes. Life is change. Life is consciousness, and consciousness keeps changing, just like all kinds of situations do. Then we realize, and sometime we say in midlife, which I've seen start to happen in adolescence and early adulthood, and then continue throughout midlife, all the way up to, I don't know, where does midlife end? It's not a firm point, just like adulthood isn't a firm point. I mean, when I was 21 and graduated from college and took off for France, I considered myself adult. Oh boy, I had a lot to learn still. And so when did I become an adult? Well, I don't know, somewhere between 30 and 40. Probably, mostly. It's a moving target. So the big revelation, the magical revelation of midlife is, oh, there's this whole other dimension, this whole other spectrum of dimensions that aren't in the physical. And as we enter them, we discover that the things we thought about ourselves, okay, I'm a woman, but it can be wonderful, it can be powerful, it can also be very limiting. And it's all of that. It's not one or the other. But what we learn initially, we need to expand so that we experience the whole perspective. of all the aspects of our identity. I grew up being Irish Catholic. That was very limiting initially. Now I know that I've studied Irish culture and I know the poetry of it and the spirituality of it and the magicalness of it. And so it's a much larger universe, and it's become an asset, a resource from which I can spring to enter the spiritual realm. So somewhere throughout, let's just say throughout midlife, we are continually becoming conscious of spirit. What is that? Of God, if you want to use that word. What is God? Who is God? God is not something that we can encompass in language. Language is finite. Language is little boxes. And the thing, the concept, the energy, the whatever it is, the intelligence that we call God is not something we can put in a box. It's unboxable. And so that's what we are exploring when we get into the fourth dimension. When we become, and the consciousness that is equivalent to the fourth dimension, to being open to the spiritual world, is generally, we call it vessel consciousness. You know, this is a conceit, an idea, a structure made up by people of 4 words that begin with V that describe consciousness. It's a mnemonic. It's a tool for remembering. It doesn't mean a whole lot, but it does help us to hang our awareness on it. So victim and victor are the 2 poles in the physical dimension. And from there, as we become aware of spirit and of uncontainment and of infinity and of you can do anything, and we realize that those limitless ideas are also possible when we leave the 3rd dimension awareness. And it takes us a lot of trial and error. The 4th dimension goes on for most of us, for most of our lives, as we learn to channel goodness to others. It's the others, the presence of others, that distinguishes the 4th dimension from the 3rd dimension. In the 3rd dimension, we're all wrapped up in ourselves. 4th dimension, we begin to open up and realize, oh, I'm not all by myself. I don't have to struggle all my life to make anything happen, because I'm not all by myself. That is the great revelation of getting into the 4th dimension. I am connected to infinite goodness, and I can open up to it and allow it to pour through me, to flow through me to others with whom I am also inevitably connected. I am not isolated. I am not condemned to struggle against this falling down world for my whole life. I am one with, I can always open to and allow to flow the goodness in from the spirit to flow freely through me. Now that word freely, that's an interesting challenge for us, because we are still in the fourth dimension. It's a bridge dimension. We're still in the third dimension, and we're discovering the fourth dimension. So the channel awareness sometimes focuses on us, the physical being, the limited, boxed in person, individual, entity. And sometimes we see through that. It's an illusion. It's, you know, it's when we think that we are our bodies, which, you know, our senses tell us we are. So we have to believe beyond the senses, to go into vessel awareness, to go into channeling, to go into allowing, to go into becoming more and more a free channel of goodness for other people. Now, do other people feel, perceive our channeling, our awareness of good? Think about it. Are there people that when you are with them, you just feel, I don't need to worry about, she's not going to be, or he's not going to be incensed, angry, complaining. I'm not going to have to solve any problems. I just feel at peace when I'm with this person. Do you know anybody like that? Hopefully you know several somebodies like that, who at least most of the time, you can be in joy and peace when you're with them. You can feel at one, and you can lean back and relax and enjoy the experience. That's when you're in peace inside you. That's how other people perceive you. And if that's your habitual way of experiencing the world, you'll get comments like, how can you be so calm? How do you do that? Right? Has anybody ever asked you that? How can you always be happy? You know, they don't grok it. They don't understand how you can be the you that you are at this point in your spiritual path.
No, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
And people know, you know, how you are in yourself. People know when you're connected to good, when you are open to it, when you are allowing it to flow through you and not worrying about how you appear or what people think of you, or did you sound stupid, or these are my questions. You probably have your own questions. Did my hair look okay? Wow, I look really pale. Whoa, where did that pimple come from? Right? Oh yeah.
Good boy.
Yep. So in the fourth dimension, it's a long process, and not everybody goes with us. I mean, I know that at one point, a bunch of years ago, I became aware. I was beginning to explore the fourth dimension. And I realized that, our little bitty center, Unity Center with 35 members, in the only Unity Center in an area that served over 1 million people. Why were we so small? Why couldn't we open up and find ways to serve people in our general area, more people? Well, I found out as I began to, think along those lines and to, begin to strategize, I found out very quickly that the people in that congregation, in my spiritual family, in my spiritual community, they didn't want to go there. They wanted a unity center that served their little town of 15,000 people. They didn't want to go outside that area because they'd have people coming in from 40 miles away, people they didn't know. And they liked having a family church. So I was getting really excited about channeling, and I found myself alone. A bunch of people that, they weren't there yet. I don't know if they want to get there, but I was not talking their language anymore. And I needed, because this was being a very insistent message from my inner self, that you need to make it broader. You need to work with a larger audience. I'll tell you sometime how we got to Living Peace Now from the town of 15,000. It was a wonderful, amazing experience. But it was a very interesting realization that, okay, my path is calling me to a certain place and I need to follow it. Even if it means giving up my spiritual community, even if it means giving up the people that I have felt nurtured by and that I consider friends. I need to move to this other dimension. And that happens to us all our lives, that we evolve into different places, different scales, different missions, and people that we were very close to for a while, we find ourselves going in opposite directions. It's natural, it happens. And it's important to follow our inner spiritual guidance in terms of where is my best manifestation at this moment? What is the highest and best good that I can do? And to give up what we're attached to in order to do it. That is moving into and through the fourth dimension. So a few days ago, it was very interesting. I was in a discussion with a bunch of ministers who are members of an international chaplaincy organization. And we were participating in an online discussion of the organization and where it wants to go and how does our mission play into where the organization was going. And it was a fascinating experience to listen, which I did, because everybody expressed who they are in the physical dimension. They were white, they were black, they were gay, they were straight, they were old, they were young. Everybody expressed how they perceived the mission of the organization through one of their physical lenses. And there wasn't any acknowledgement, any conscious acknowledgement of, oh, wait a minute. This applies to everybody. This applies to humans, accompanying other humans and helping them through their difficult points. There was no universality. And that is third dimension. I think that most of them do experience the fourth dimension. They weren't doing it in this discussion. But if they were in their fourth dimension awareness, their channel awareness, they would have been talking about, okay, what are some of the best practices for nurturing people as they deal with a serious illness? What are some of the best ways of helping people to discover their path through any challenge? That didn't even come up. So it's interesting. You can observe yourself and others and be aware of, okay, where is my consciousness in this moment? As opposed to, do I want it to be there? Do I want it to be someplace else? And we have the power to shift. That's very important to realize, that when we don't want to be where we are, all we have to do is shift, pivot, turn our awareness in the direction we want to go in, and to name it somehow. The unity tricks of the trade, I guess you can call them, for doing this that I've learned are, first, to deny the idea that I'm getting bogged down in, that I don't want. And a few years ago, I learned a wonderful sentence to do that. And the sentence is, that idea has no power over me. Whatever that idea is, it doesn't matter. You know, so somebody talks about coming down with COVID and I get scared. My path out of that awareness is, that idea has no power over me. It's a wonderful multi-purpose denial. And then, of course, the flip side is the statement, the claim, as an expression of spirit. I am whole and strong, and I am not getting sick. So those are tools that we learn in Unity for making this shift. And I need to end. So I'm going to invite you now to go into meditation with me. And just for a few moments, I invite you to relax back into whatever is supporting you. Chair, floor, bed, couch, or pace if you're walking. I don't see anybody walking. Okay. And we're going to go into fourth dimension openness, to channeling the flow as widely as we can imagine. Relax, start to slow your breathing. Feel your muscles and your mind relax as you slowly breathe in, hold, and then slowly breathe out. Feel the relaxation happening. It's like a trigger. It just happens when you slow your breathing. It's wonderful. Allow yourself to feel happy, as you might in a forest or a dappled field on a comfortably warm summer day. Feel your oneness with the stately trees. Enjoy the butterflies that flutter their wings as they move past you or around you. Welcome the song of a thrush or a finch, or maybe a cardinal. Create your happy, relaxing place in your mind and feel and be grateful for your joy at being there. What a miracle. As you relax and enjoy, become aware of your gratitude for being able to find a happy, peaceful place in your imagination. That is a wonderful power. Notice what is beautiful in this place and appreciate everything you notice. Know that at every moment that you are peaceful and grateful, other beings can feel and appreciate the inner peace and joy that you are radiating. If you have a pet, you will notice that it becomes quiet too. If you have friends, you will notice that they are aware of the peacefulness of your energy. Other beings may feel so happy that when they are with you, they don't have to solve problems or deal with your anger or your distress. They can simply join your joyfulness. You are channeling love and joy around you into the surroundings of others. You have people in your life who give you the same gift. Feel grateful for them as well. Just take a couple of moments now and enjoy feeling this inner peace, this gratitude. Now I invite you to open up to channel this peace in your imagination to other beings, other people, other situations, other places where struggle is happening and where you know they will benefit from the goodness you are enjoying. Envision the channeling this goodness to others, and as you think of them, name them aloud softly so they become part of our shared
Ruth,
Sangha.
Walter, André, Christian,
Envision all of us together sharing one peace, one love through our hearts filled with gratitude and joy. Now it is time to start to bring your consciousness back into your space, retaining the peaceful sense that's lighting up your heart and mind. Slowly feel your awareness returning to your body, head to toe. When you feel ready, open your eyes gently and thank the people we have all journeyed with in this meditation by looking at each of us and smiling. Share your smile. We are all blessed to have come together today in this way, and we will all take this shared love with us as we go forth to the rest of our day. And so it is.
Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you so much. I was really, thinking about what you were talking about, how your vision expanded out from being part of a congregation to then letting this living peace alternative ministry that you have today grow. And it's not bound by locality, actually. It's an international, online, whatever. But then comes COVID, and be that we wanted this or not, but we are also more or less online. And we have, I believe, learned in these 2 years, with some resistance, I agree, to feel that we are a family, that we are a spiritual family, but we are, just to remind you, sweet people, we have Anna-Marie from Switzerland here, we got Rosemary from North Carolina, we got
Wherever I'm from. From wherever I'm from.
wherever you are, and you have Lisa from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we are a family, and yet we are having to allow time and space to be less important. I don't know if you're aware, but here where I am, it's 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock, right? And so on. It's just like, where Anna Marie's, I don't know, it's 6 o'clock in the evening, right? Time is becoming that, not that it's fluid, but each one of us is finding within the collective that we're here, is finding an anchor. That's what even though we are not at the moment meeting in the sanctuary at Unity Center, we are here and we need to affirm the anchor that the collective is created. It's consciousness. It's what Unity teaches. It's conscious, and consciousness is not geography. It's not physicality. It's an entity of what you would call the fifth dimension, channeling. And I love the word channeling. And I really enjoyed your meditation more and more. wanting to incorporate this idea of beaming out, streaming, you know, the word streaming out this light. Not just affirmations, but with actually visualizing the streaming of this energy into areas where there is hurt, where there is the need for peace, where, you know, you are, Rosemary, an ambassador for peace, and then Anna-Marie with her daily, you know, writing these remarkable La Pensée du Jour, which she will share in a minute. And she has this Radio Chico, which is maybe something one of these days she will share with us in a Sunday talk that is close to her heart, which is for young people. That's her commitment. And then we have Lisa with her connection to the Franciscan way of spirituality. Lisa is also an ordained minister and has also become part of our enlarged, non-physical, yet consciousness of Unity Center of Montreal. So closing up this part of the service, I want to remind you to step into your prosperity and into your giving and receiving. And as you are full of this wonderful morning gathering, think of ways, think of your willingness to give in support of the ministry that is a physical ministry as well and has physical obligations and needs your love offering. We know this activity of giving and receiving is now beautifully blessing each one and every one here, as well as our collective, our Sangha. And out of that consciousness, let's reach across the screen for our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love
of God
enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. And I invite you to bring your smiling eyes to recognize each other and communicate and beam love through your smiling eyes to the people on the screen. Let me see some smiles. So I'm going to make Rosemary and Anna-Marie co-host for the activity in French that is following. Smile, 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 and stay on. We are going to now have a prayer service in French. So, Anna-Marie, will you take it from here?
Yes, that's right. I'll do it. Okay. Welcome to everybody to La Pensée Jour. Hier, le 5 février, il y avait vraiment une pensée très étrange. C'est-à-dire, il y avait le silence. Et sur cette page, il n'y avait rien du tout. Il n'y en avait que 3 fois 3 petits points. Parce que le silence, il n'a pas de mots. Je ne sais pas si vous allez voir comment c'était. Je ne sais pas si ça marche. Pas tellement. Mais rien. À la fin de la page, c'est marqué « Note des expériences de ce silence ». C'était au début un peu il fallait un peu de courage pour rien marquer. Et il semble que, ou voilà, elle était paresseuse ou je ne sais pas quoi, elle ne voulait rien écrire. Mais en principe, cette page me prenait plus de temps, le voilà, me prenait plus de temps que d'écrire quelque chose. Parce que le silence, dans le silence, il y a le tout. Et de ce tout, j'entre maintenant le 6 février, c'est-à-dire aujourd'hui. Et là, j'ai le titre « L'amour et le silence ». Le silence n'est pas comme une immersion dans la mer de l'amour. Je répète, le silence n'est-il pas comme une immersion dans la mer de l'amour? Est-il possible que ce silence soit l'amour qui donne naissance à tout? Nous avons déjà travaillé sur le néant. Le néant, le silence sont frères et sœurs. Ils sont toujours prêts. Chaque fois que tu te confies à eux, ils te soufflent des réponses à tes questions, tes visions, et bien plus encore. N'est-ce pas un grand cadeau, un soulagement de savoir que tout est toujours avec toi? Que tu n'es pas dépendant de toi-même, que tu n'es que dépendant de toi-même et que si tu as confiance en toi, tu peux entièrement compter sur toi, sur la petite voix qui réside dans ton cœur. Réjouis-toi du silence dans l'amour. Réjouis-toi du silence dans l'amour. Merci beaucoup.
Merci à toi.
Merci, Anne-Marie. C'est
Merci.
très beau. Maya, je ne suis pas co-host. J'arrive pas à partager mon écran. Voilà, merci. Alors, en pensant à la canalisation, si vous voulez, du bien, j'ai choisi ce passage du petit bouquin Life is Consciousness de Emmett Fox. Que j'ai partagé avec vous un petit peu il y a un mois. Et maintenant, je vais lire un passage où il s'agit des mots clés. Je suis, que M. Fox appelle la clé de la croissance spirituelle. Et ça a été un passage intéressant, je l'ai trouvé, parce que les paroles « je suis » et « étant », la signification, beaucoup plus que moi j'avais pensé. Alors, je vais lire et vous pouvez suivre. Lorsque quelqu'un utilise « je suis » pour vous, cela devient « vous êtes ». C'est votre « je suis » qui doit vous sauver et personne sur terre ne peut l'utiliser à part vous. Le je suis est Dieu en action. C'est une définition de Dieu. Je suis. Dieu travaille à travers vous, nous, moi, à travers le je suis. Vous n'êtes pas séparés de Dieu. Dieu n'est pas assis très haut dans le ciel pour vous envoyer une bonne idée. Tout ce que vous croyez, vous le créez. Vous êtes le je suis. Je veux insister sur ce point. Vous construisez votre conscience avec votre je suis. Personne d'autre ne peut le faire pour vous. Et vous ne pouvez pas tricher. Vous utilisez le je suis dans chaque action que vous faites tout au long de la journée. Vous construisez votre conscience parce que vous pensez, vous dites et vous faites, et par ce que vous avez. C'est tout partie, ça fait partie de je suis. Réfléchissez pendant la semaine qui vient. Le je suis. Et puis, prions ensemble notre Père. Notre Père qui est aux cieux, que ton nom soit sanctifié, que ton règne vienne, que ta volonté soit faite sur la terre comme au ciel. Donne-nous aujourd'hui notre pain de ce jour. Pardonne-nous nos offenses, comme nous pardonnons aussi à ceux qui nous ont offensés. Et ne nous laisse pas entrer en tentation, mais délivre-nous du mal. Car c'est à toi qu'appartiennent dans tous les siècles le règne, la puissance et la gloire. Amen. Merci.
Merci. Merci Anne-Marie, merci Rosemary, merci beaucoup, beaucoup, beaucoup.
Merci à vous tous.
Oui.
À
Merci
bientôt.
Sandra, Pauline, William.
Laetitia.
Oui.
Merci beaucoup.
Namaste.
J'ai beaucoup apprécié. Merci. À bientôt. À samedi prochain. Bye
Au
bye.
revoir. Au revoir.
Au revoir. C'est samedi ou dimanche? Non, c'est dimanche, non?
On a une réunion samedi.
Ah, bon, d'accord. C'est
Et
quelque chose
dimanche.
d'autre. Oui.
C'est les chapelains?
Oui.
Ok.
International.
Ah, c'est l'international.
Oui,
C'est ça
à
que je voulais.
bientôt.
Oui.
Merci.
Ok.
Au revoir.
D'accord. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Merci.
Bye Maya.
Bye Anne-Marie.
Bye, Maya.
Bye bye Laetitia.